Hi, I'm Alexandra Harbushka. I'm the founder of Life With Herpes, and I want to get right to it today. Let's talk about ways you can get herpes without having sex. Believe it or not, you can still get herpes even if you don't have sex. Okay, so let's face it. When we're learning about sex ed and they're educating us, and it's always very like, oh, if you have sex, you're gonna get an STD, or if you do this, you're gonna get STD. And what they don't necessarily teach us, or what we haven't really, we haven't been taught it, or maybe we didn't want to hear about it, is there's other ways you can get herpes even if you don't have sex. Before I get into that, let's go through exactly what herpes is and how it's transmitted. I'll just do a quick little 101 breakdown about what's going on. Just so you know, it's skin-to-skin transmission. So herpes, non-herpes, touch, okay, now you have the possibility of contaminating this hand, right? So it is skin-to-skin touch. I do go into a lot of details on Herpes 101. I'll have the link below for you to click on. It is pretty detailed on other ways you can get it, things like that, signs, symptoms, feelings, all of that. But for today's purpose, I just want you to know that it is skin-to-skin transmission. So another example, because I get this asked all the time. If you have oral herpes and say you hug someone, will that person get herpes? No, because you're hugging. They're not coming into contact the area that you're infected. So vice versa, if you have genital herpes and you are kissing somebody, will that person get genital herpes? No. They'd have to perform oral sex on you, or you perform oral sex on them, depending on who has it. So it stays contained into the area in which you have it. So again, if you have genital herpes and you kiss somebody, you're not putting that person at risk of transmission or catching it. So does that kind of make sense? It's skin to skin based on location. So with that being said, back to what I was saying in the beginning is we think, oh, well, if I have sex, then I'll get herpes, or whatever STD you're worried about. In our case, we're talking about herpes. Well, that's not always true. So one of the biggest myths out there is people believe that oral sex is a really safe method to have sex or to mess around or have fun. And a lot of the education got left out of needing to use a condom during oral sex. So I don't know if you knew this, but you can pretty much get every STD, every STI that you can from having sex through oral sex. You can get chlamydia, you can get gonorrhea, you can get syphilis, you can get hepatitis, I think it's B, Hep B, and you can obviously get herpes. So a lot of people think like, oh, I don't have a condom, or I don't have protection, or maybe I don't know this person that well. We'll just have oral sex. That way I'm protecting myself and my partner. It's probably not the best way to go, because you still can transmit herpes. The only thing I can guarantee that will not happen with oral sex is pregnancy, right? That one won't happen. But anything else, you're still putting yourself and your partner at risk unless you're using some type of protection like a dental dam or using a condom. Okay, the other method that, again, we may or may not think of is anal sex. So again, we think like, oh, sex, it's just vaginal, but there's a lot of other ways to have sex. And so you can also transmit herpes through anal sex, right? The virus actually likes kind of being in that area. So not to be TMI, but obviously I am pretty TMI in this topic. My herpes virus, when I get an outbreak, it actually is in the anal area. For whatever reason, it chose that area to go. And so just so you all know, that's where I actually get my outbreaks. So if you're somebody that has anal sex, then you're really putting your partner at risk of contracting herpes, or any other STI for that matter. But of course, we're talking about herpes here. Okay, so the next one is foreplay. Okay, here's the thing, is foreplay is basically messing around sexually before you have sex. Again, the whole thought process is, as long as I'm having sex, I won't, if I don't have sex, I won't get herpes. If I don't have sex, these things won't happen. And it's not an if-then sentence. I sound really like I'm talking about like geometry or something or whatever. It's not an if then, but if you are in that area and having foreplay, so there's a lot that goes on in foreplay, right? And a lot of times we forget to use a condom during foreplay because we're programmed to think, oh, condom sex, condom prevents pregnancy, condom prevents STIs. Yeah, but if you are coming into skin-to-skin contact during the foreplay, then you are, again, putting your partner at risk, or you are at risk, right, of the transmission. So just kind of think about that a little bit, just remember. And then on the opposite, the flip side of it is after you're done having sex. So maybe you're cuddling, maybe you're spooning, whatever you want to call it, the post part of sex. A lot of times the condom comes off. You guys lay there, cuddle, whatever it is that you do. Just remember still at that point, just because you're not having sex doesn't mean that you're not at risk of catching it or transmitting it. I just want to get across that actually having sex doesn't mean you're going to transmit it. There's a lot that you can do here, there, before, after, during, that you're still at a possibility of transmission. Okay, so what do I mean by this? And what I don't want you to do is be like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. I can't touch anything. Oh my gosh, what do I do? This is totally messed up. Everything about sex and what I thought and how do I move forward? All right, first of all, don't panic. Take a deep breath. There's millions of people with herpes out there, and pretty much we all have a normal sex life. So, number one, it's really important that you communicate this with your partner, right? So back to, just use a condom and everything's gonna be fine. Not necessarily, right? Because maybe you used a condom during sex, but you took it off after sex, and you're still putting that person at risk, or you're at risk. So just communicate with your partner, make sure that he or she knows that you have herpes so you guys can discuss it and know, and when was your last outbreak, and how often do you get outbreaks, things like that. Then also use protection consistently and every single time. So if you are going to be exposing the person to your genital area or oral area during foreplay, then make sure you use a condom during foreplay. And just be aware of that. Also after, like there's just some things that maybe you need to think about. Maybe you need to put on your underwear afterwards or something like that. Just be aware about where you're coming into contact. And then finally, I do not want this to stop you from touching people and hugging people and please don't feel like a leper, right? It is absolutely normal. We are humans. We want affection. We want to touch. We want to be around people. We want to hold hands. We want to share an ice cream cone. We want to kiss, all of that. So please don't let this paralyze you and put you in this like robot type phase. All I'm trying to do is just educate you so that you know that either maybe you picked up herpes from somewhere else, maybe you used a condom every single time, but you didn't realize that you needed it during foreplay, or you didn't realize that you needed it during oral sex, or you didn't realize, after we have sex and if we're sitting there, lying in bed, I could still get it that way. So these are just important things to know about and keep in mind. All right, I didn't even talk about this in the beginning. If you're not a member of the Secret Society, I'd love to invite you to do that. There's hundreds of people over in the Secret Society. It is an online community for people living with herpes. And what I really like about this group is the people are so heartfelt and want to support each other and want to know how your day's going. And if you're having a great day, share. And if you're not, we are all here to support you. We share home remedies. We share what we're grateful for. We have weekly live video chats. So it is only exclusive for our members. So go to lifewithherpes.com. You will see the information there. And I will see you in the Secret Society. Bye.